I'm Katie Caldesi and I'm going to show you how to make Neapolitan pasta al forno. Now this is a wonderful layered pasta dish and I got the recipe from this little hilltop restaurant in the south of Italy, just south of Naples, and it has wonderful meatballs in it. It has Parmigiano-Reggiano, Parma ham, it has pasta and tomato sauce. The best thing to do is to start off making the tomato sauce. So into the pan with hot oil, you put some garlic and finely chopped white onion and then tins of tomato. Bring it all to the boil, put in a good sprig of basil and leave it simmering away for about 40 minutes or so. Then taste it, put in some salt and pepper, and if you like, the cheats way of doing it down in the south of Italy is to add some sugar to the dish. I've put a couple of teaspoons in to really give that richness to the flavour. The next thing to do is to make the meatballs. This is a very traditional Italian way of making meatballs. I'm mixing beef and pork. You could use just beef if you want to. Lovely salami goes into it, and of course, in meatballs, Parmigiano-Reggiano. So all that goes into the dish. Then you crack in 2 eggs and mix it up with your hands. It really gives a richness and depth of flavour to the meatballs. Right, so I'm mixing in the bread into the meatball mixture. Just make sure it's really, really well blended together. And now you can see they're quite small. It really doesn't matter if they're slightly irregular in shape. And if you find it difficult rolling them, just wet your hands a little bit and you find that they don't stick then. Right, the next thing to do is to brown the meatballs. Put them into lovely hot oil and just brown them quite quickly on all sides because they're going to cook again when you cook the pasta al forno in the oven. While you're waiting for these to brown, now's the time for a bit of cook's perks. I've got a lovely Douro Valley red here. Oh, it's wonderful, fruity, gutsy flavours. There's just that little hint of spice. It'll actually go perfectly with this dish, with the tomato and the flavour of the Parmigiano-Reggiano, the Parma ham. It'll match perfectly. Right, now the meatballs are done. We're going to drain them on a bit of kitchen paper just to take off any excess oil that they might have on them. Okay, the first thing to go into the dish is the tomato sauce. You always start with a layer of tomato sauce on the bottom. That way the pasta won't stick. And then put the pasta sheets in. Now, depending on the size of your pasta sheets, you can just literally tear them into shape. So if it's a bit big, tear a bit off the side, like so. Ideally, you don't really want them overlapping too much because the pieces of pasta underneath just won't be able to cook if there's too many layers all in one go. The next thing we want to do is to put on these lovely meatballs. Just a few of those scattered around. A bit of this chopped egg. Then a bit more tomato sauce and Parmigiano-Reggiano. A good sprinkling of this. A little bit of buffalo mozzarella as well, torn in. And then the next thing we want to do is to tear some Parma ham into it as well. I went to see Parma ham being made in Parma and I was taken around a factory and they described how they got the flavour of this Parma ham and how a man tests it with a little tiny needle of a horse bone and he points the horse bone into the Parma ham in 5 different places and then he smells the horse bone to make sure it smells correct and only then does it get branded as real prosciutto di Parma. And we also went to see around a Parmesan factory. And that was amazing too, and we saw I battitori, the men that have these little hammers, and they go and tap the cheeses and they listen to see if there's a dud one. And if there's a dud one, they reject it, and they score through the marking around the outside. So you know if you're going to buy proper Parmigiano-Reggiano, it will have the writing on the outside. Right, all ready, into the oven at 180 for about 20 minutes to half an hour. Oh, it smells gorgeous. Parmigiano-Reggiano has gone lovely and crispy and crunchy on top. It's ready to eat, but not without a glass of Douro Valley red. How delicious. And if you want to know the recipe or any more information about the products, look at discovertheorigin.co.uk.